Cool.
So, mhm,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Do you have something to say?
So I was just basically going to say that, like where would we start? Because like I'm doing open queue, right? And I'm very flex. I basically
Mm-hmm.
play anyone, and I did see your other video about, what champs to pick, and also I saw on the Discord channel on the Overwatch one, the same one that we're on,
Mm-hmm.
that you have to pick, tank support, and then you have to actually say like what person.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm just an overall Overwatch player, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just kind of want to have general tips, strategy
Sure.
wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Uh,
there'll be a lot of things that apply across different roles and things like that. If this gets kind of into what your goals are, what would you say your goals are while playing? Are you playing to win games, climb, have fun, or
no,
improve?
I don't play games to have fun. Don't be silly. But yeah, we'll climb and win.
Okay.
I don't know what the difference would be, but yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, well, some people like to win even if they're not playing ranked.
true.
Then with that in mind,
Mhm,
my recommendation, which we can go
mhm,
more in depth on this
mhm.
after this game's done if we need to. But my recommendation would be to narrow your hero pool more because the
Is it what? Let's
wider
say again.
narrow your hero pool more because the
Okay.
wider you spread yourself thin,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different characters with different abilities and ultimates and play styles, and the more you just spread thin between all of those, the slower you're learning and improving.
Okay.
Which, like I said, we can talk
That
more
makes
in
sense.
depth about that afterwards.
But technically speaking, wouldn't the best kind of Overwatch player be somebody that could like flex on the snap of a finger,
Well,
like we need this, and then be able to play that, like
yeah, well, to a lot of in a lot of cases, as you get better and learn a few characters, you kind of learn the game to a higher level across all the characters,
right, right,
because
right.
you will start to understand what works better across them.
hmm So right now I just charged with him because he charged, right? And we're gonna
Hmm.
fuck up this guy. There we go.
Hmm. All right. Well, since we're getting started here, I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Okay, sounds good. And I know that you have to shoot with one gun to do more damage further away, right?
Hmm.
That's something I
Yep.
learned recently, which is really good to know. Good job, guys. And as you can see on the top left, I am muted right now, but what was I gonna say? So they don't hear me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because I always like to talk to my teammates. I'm not gonna chase that, right? Or should we
Hmm.
chase that to stagger?
Well, since you have point, you can start to chase them. You have
Right.
point, you have a really big advantage.
That I shouldn't. Oh my god! Yeah, he got the 250. So yeah. So now they have three tanks, right? So now my normal instinct would be I would probably want to go. Sorry, two tanks. So I'd probably want to go Reaper technically,
Yeah,
or
you
like.
you could go Reaper, or you could stay tank because you are really close to your ultimate as well here. So
Hmm.
maybe it might be best, right, if you're looking to play Flexi, is play off of your ultimate, and then if you die, or if you lose a fight, you can try thinking about swapping.
Picky mouse swapping. What do you say?
Thinking about swapping after you've lost fight or died, right?
Right.
Because you don't need to think about swapping if it's working.
Right. Well, sometimes that's not true because let's say you have a Mei and a Zarya and your Diva. Even if you have alt, I would most definitely switch basically because after that alt, you're just going to be either staggered or giving them more free charge while you're basically doing nothing because you're not acting as a tank anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, like, it really kind of depends. A lot of the time, ultimates
Oh,
are very powerful. Oh, that's unfortunate. They lost a player, I think.
yeah, yeah, they
Um,
did.
a lot of the times, ultimates are very high powered and they're handy to use, even if they're just using it quickly. There are
Mhm.
select circumstances, like you said, if you're being hard countered by their whole team, where it can be handy to swap and just give up an ultimate. Right? It's just not worth waiting,
Mhm.
especially if you're not close to your ultimate. I'd recommend doing that.
Hmm.
And
And I guess it
also,
also depends on the situation too,
yeah.
because
Mhm.
if I have alt as Diva and it's like the last little push, maybe that self destruct could definitely,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And
okay,
also might
right.
depend on the strength of your ultimate as well, right? Some ultimates are more powerful than others.
hmm So it's the same about this game right now because they left. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta quickly finish this one up so
Yeah.
don't waste too much of my time and your time.
Hmm. Yeah. The unfortunate nature behind.
Yeah,
Uh
I'll
oh.
trap them.
Might want to
uh,
use cardiac overdrive here there so you can try to get some heals up in that situation, but also really far ahead of your team as well.
that's the name of the thing, cardiac arrest, huh? That's funny.
Overdrive, yeah. Hmm.
Uh, okay, I see. Yes, and I did believe I pushed it, didn't I? But it just
No, mm-mm.
oh, I didn't push
Use
it.
your ultimate.
Right.
I'm talking about
No,
your E, your the one that
uh,
heals you.
right. But you're saying I didn't heal, huh?
Mm-mm.
That's weird. Okay. I prep. Hmm. They don't have a McCree, so I guess I have no excuse. Okay.
Cool. Well, especially since they're down a player, we can talk about some more things. I guess to finish asking some of my questions there.
Mhm.
Um, so I think we got your goals. What would you? So firstly, how long have you been playing Overwatch for?
So technically, since 2016 May,
Okay.
and a little bit of beta when Bastion had Shield, uh,
Fun.
but yeah, I did have like an between all that year and now,
Mm-hmm.
2 year hiatus, but not chronologically or what's it called, like
Mm-hmm.
altogether. But overall, about 2 years, and I would say maybe a 8 months to 10 months, like span of not touching the game.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So a lot of downtime, but playing for a
Yeah.
while. Cool. And then let's say like the past 2 weeks or so, how often have you been playing the game?
Almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
I've been streaming more seriously for the
Mm-hmm.
last month, yeah, more than a month,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been basically playing Overwatch basically every
Cool.
day. I
Gotcha.
play, yeah,
Gotcha.
VR here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
besides that, it's the Overwatch.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And then did you have any other questions? I'm usually asking before we start if you had any questions for me, but I mean, you seem to have some as we're going here as well.
And
So,
unfortunately, I didn't fully focus. For some reason, I thought we needed another healer, so I went healer. But I guess I didn't look properly.
it's
But
all
I guess
good.
you get to see my Zen gameplay. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. Oh, breaking a thing for him, breaking a thing, breaking a thing. Ah, got him. So, one of the best players in the world, being Zen, I know is like his thing is just really aiming well, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Zen is kind of like a sniper shotgun, is how I kind of view him.
Yeah, I mean Zenyatta's yeah, he's kind of a mid-range character. He definitely can play. He can play a little bit further away. He can play a bit closer, but generally prefers more of a mid-range.
Mhm. Yeah, not a long range, you'd think? Not a long
Yes,
range?
not a long range. And I can
Really?
especially if you're looking to I can explain more of that after we're done this game.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking for more general gameplay tips, I can just give you a quick overview of ranging across characters.
Okay. But I mean, I'm not doing much, right? So I mean, yeah, tell me why he's not long range.
Sure.
Because maybe the
Well,
fall. Okay, go on.
so Zenyatta does not have any fall off damage, right? So he's doing the same damage from any range,
Amazing.
but the problem comes within a couple things. Firstly,
Oh,
the major thing is Zenyatta is a projectile character, meaning
right.
that your orbs have a travel time, and by the time your orbs get to where they're trying to go, they've
Hmm.
already moved out of the way, whether on purpose or on accident, right? Which just makes it
Like a
really
Hanzo.
difficult to aim. Yeah, like a Hanzo, which makes it
Yeah.
very difficult to aim at long ranges, and you will be a lot less accurate at longer ranges, which means that you can play them, but it's not where you prefer to play,
Hmm.
because you're not going to be able to accurately land shots and get value that way. And then
So would you say the same thing about Hanzo then?
same thing. Hanzo is also a mid-range character. He can play a little bit of long range sometimes, but once again, mid-range character. Really, the only like there's some situations where some characters like to play long range, but ultimately, the only pure long range character in the game, I would say, is a Widowmaker. Which
Really? Not even Ana?
no, not even Ana, because Ana's abilities prefer both of them are projectiles and prefer closer ranges.
Hmm.
Plus, it makes it difficult to rotate and see your team. And with the exception of some points where you have very wide open sight lines, which in those cases might be okay for Ana to play a little bit more long ranged, but in a lot of cases, even on Ana, close to mid ranged for teammates is good, and then mid to close for enemies is good.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Hmm. Yep,
Um,
and I can even real quick run in the training range and just show you even what I mean by
Absolutely. That'd be
close, mid, and long range, because because it's handy to even know what I mean when I say long range as well.
Mhm. True. I guess I was thinking something else too. That's
Hmm.
yeah, a good point. Again, sorry about this. They're not leaving. I would have left for the record.
Yeah, all good, all good.
If it's three, if it's four, I even won a
Yeah.
4v5 last night.
Yeah, and this one of the reasons why sometimes replays can be, the way to go for
Mm,
coaching. A lot of times, hands-on is good for hands-on, or sorry, like live gameplay is best for hands-on learners as well
mhm,
as application and putting things into action. But a lot of times, replays are good baseline to go with.
mhm. By the way, question: when
Hmm.
I shoot the May wall, I feel
Hmm.
like I could look at this up. I know this, but anyway,
Hmm.
when I shoot a May wall, does it give May charge?
Alt charge? No. Mm-mm.
Okay, okay, I see. Also, another question that I've had kind of not arguments, but just like conversations about. But if you have your alt, let's say you're a soldier, right?
Hmm.
You have your alt, you're waiting to use your alt. Do you think it's sometimes better to? That's funny. That I did somebody join by the way?
No, I start streaming.
Oh, okay, thank you. So
Hmm.
you know what? What's your thing? By the way, because I would like to have people hear you, because unfortunately nobody can hear you.
Oh, I'm just streaming on Discord if you want to take a look at that. That's what I was talking about.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
Hmm.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Let me see if I can. Here, let's see. Um,
Sorry. Did you want to continue with your question?
okay, yes. So yeah, you're a soldier. You got your alt, and you have healers,
Hmm.
right? That don't have their alt, and sometimes would you say it's better if you were a soldier waiting for an opportunity or to still harass with damage and not gain anything, right? I mean,
Hmm.
besides little damage or whatever, because then the healers are healing their tank or their guy or whatever and getting charged from it while you're getting nothing. So, in some cases, would you say it's better to just not shoot, or do you think it's always best
Mm.
to shoot all the time?
So if you already have your ultimate,
Mhm.
and you are in a poke phase of a fight, so where you're just kind of it's in between the fight, and you're just kind of shooting them to shoot at them. Um, if you don't think realistically you're gonna get any kills, and you're just firing for the sake of damaging them,
Mhm.
then usually you don't want to shoot, because then that's feeding them support ult charge, like you said. Whereas if you
Right.
think you could potentially get a kill out of it, or you're starting to get into the start of a fight, then go
Mhm.
for it, because then that damage is going to be useful for either getting a kill or getting out their abilities and resources at the start of a fight. So if you're starting to get into a fight, then go for it. But if the fight just ended and you have your ultimate, then that can just be beating them ult charge.
Exactly. Okay. So there's some truth in that, basically. And
Yeah. Mhm.
okay, good to know. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm watching you here.
Sure.
If I full screen that, does that work for that? I guess I'll see. Okay.
So ranging real quick. I mean, so this is how
Oh,
I would define close, medium, and long range. So
right.
tip generally speaking, close range, because this is the ranging of most close range characters, is going to
Mm,
be between 0 to 15 meters, and within that is close range.
mm,
And that's because a lot of characters will the close range characters will cap out past 15 meters. So for example, Tracer's a character that kind of caps out. Past that 15 meters ish.
because of the spread,
So
right? Being too unreliable.
yeah, so spread. There's gonna be things across different characters such as spread, projectiles, fall off damage, where certain characters do less damage further away. Also acknowledging another thing on Zenyatta is that the target just gets smaller. Right, smaller targets are harder to hit than bigger targets.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
smaller targets more is going to lead to less accuracy and less shots landed. And you can even get to a point where you, let's see, what's Zenyatta's range on his, because I know they changed it. So you can even get to a point where you can't even discord, right, from this range,
Right.
which is 40 meters. So
just just what you like stepped a little bit and were able to do it. So that is exactly 40 meters, I guess.
yeah, correct.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So that's close range. Mid range is 15 to
Mhm.
30 approximately, right?
Mhm.
And then this is your mid range, right? And you
Yeah.
just as another handy tip is you can ping people, and above their heads you can see the range you're at, right?
Oh, true. Funny. I
So.
always see that, but I never took an account. But okay, that
Yeah.
would mean something.
So this is a lot of times can be your preference range in Zenyatta is hovering around this because you're still keeping your range, but now you can hit shots more accurately than if you're trying to position all the way back here, right? And you're gonna be hitting less shots. You're stepping outside of your Discord range, things like that. You're the further away you put yourself, like from your teammates, you could put yourself out of your heal range, or you could even just not be close to them enough to trance them if you're not close to them, or they can go out of your line of sight easily, right? Is another
Right.
thing.
Mhm.
And then past 30 meters is long range, which, like I said, there are some characters I could say like. Maybe like Ash, who can start to peek off into that. Maybe she's like, she'd be like 15 to 35. Widowmaker is going to be a long range character. There's some characters
Right.
that can play that longer range just situationally, like Zenyatta and Hanzo. They just depending on the circumstances. If I'm pushing into a fight or backing out of a fight, or just that's where the best positioning is. Sometimes being further away isn't too bad if it's just 5 extra meters back.
Mhm.
But if I have the option, the preference usually is to get a bit closer.
Right. Right.
hmm
Okay. Hmm. So the main thing though is like I get what you're saying in this way, but
hmm
let's say in a real game, right?
hmm
You have what I like to call high traffic areas,
hmm
right? I don't know if there's a proper terminology for pros or whatever,
hmm
but basically, if it's not clear, it means like where there's more likely going to be somebody that has to be passing by that area, right?
Yeah.
And what I would do is I don't play Hanzo basically, but like Zen, I was gonna say Hanzo, but same theory with Hanzo Zen,
hmm
almost any projectile person really. But anyway, you would shoot in that area and be getting free hits, and that's kind of how I play Zen or those guys a lot,
Yeah,
right?
especially as you're defending, you're correct that in a lot of cases this can be a good idea. Like
Mhm,
if they're just pushing into you, then let them push into you. So like if your point's here and they're all the way over there, right?
mhm,
And you can just, like you said, that maybe that's a high traffic area for them to push through this, and you can just
mhm.
kind of spam into them as they're trying to push.
Right.
But you don't want, like, if you're actively in, that's just kind of during the poke phase of a fight. During the poke phase it's a little bit different because during the poke phase you're naturally going to be further because the fight hasn't begun yet and both teams are just separated to begin with because they haven't closed in on each other. So
Right.
in your poke phase of a fight you naturally will have that's going to be a phase where of course you're going to be a bit further away because they
Mhm,
haven't come to you yet. So if they haven't come to you yet or you have not pushed to them yet, then of course you're going to be naturally further away. Does that mean that the fight's going to continue to stay that way? No. If you're in the middle of a fight and you're still 40 meters away, then that might be a problem.
Well, that's why the only reason why I brought that up was because of talking about long range characters, because
hmm
that is a great long range, let's say, defense, as you basically said.
hmm
So like I do get what you're saying in terms of categorizing the characters, like Widow being a
hmm
true long range, but I don't know. I think Zen is probably one of the strongest. And so, I mean, again, I'm only plat, let's say, right?
hmm
But many times I will outsnipe a Widow
hmm
because
Oh,
she
for sure.
has to do that certain poke, right? And we
Yeah.
know when she aims and scopes, she's
hmm
walking slowly.
Oh,
So
for
it's
sure.
very predictable movement,
Yeah,
right?
and let me clarify once again. This isn't a hard. When I say that Zenyatta is a mid-ranged character, that does
Mhm.
not mean that he's incapable of playing at long ranges. It means that mid-ranged is his preference range, meaning that
Okay.
mid-range is if you have the option available to you, you should be at a mid-ranged,
hmm
because it will be better generally for you than being at a long range. But
Mm-hmm.
if the situation dictates that long range is better because that's where your team is, because that's, you're pushing in or backing out of a fight, or you're in the poke phase of a fight, then go ahead, because you can still do long range, perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm.
So me saying that he's mid-range character does not mean that he's incapable of doing long range, or that long range is bad. It's just
Right.
that it's not the most optimal if you have the options available to you to push closer.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, going on the next part. Do you want to let's do like a previous game or something and
Sure.
um, see that? Like, how should we do this? Should I keep sharing my screen and like
Um,
show a replay?
So, I mean, you can share replay codes, and then I can open up on my end. Is something we can do here. Just out of curiosity, what are you thinking time-wise? Because if we're just
Right.
keep doing
7 minutes.
yeah, we had 7 minutes. You want to just do the 7 minutes?
Mm, um. So okay, hold on a sec. I guess I'm. Hold on. So I'm gonna just in case I mute myself there. But how much do you want to do if we do like another 15? So total
Another
another.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. If we did another 15, that would be another like $10 because that's if $30 sorry, if 30 minutes is $20, then 15 would be 10.
I see. Fuck it. Let's just do the full hour, eh? Fuck it.
Okay,
So
sure,
I'll just give you the extra the half hour in PayPal or whatever.
sure. I gotcha.
Okay, okay, cool. All right.
That
And
works.
then we can keep going on, right?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool.
hmm So feel free to send over the code, and we can, or you can say it, or you can copy it over.
Oh, the code.
hmm
Right. That's how we could do things.
hmm
So I'm going to give you one of my losses, okay? Or a
Sure.
draw. Uh, no, let's do a loss. Let's do a loss.
hmm
So how do I see a code? I know how to do this. Import? No. I've never actually had to do
Yep.
this. Share.
hmm
Okay. Loading. So Nancy, Victor, 8, Charlie, Foxtrot, Zebra, or Zulu.
Gotcha.
I know my phonetic alphabet. Oh, dang it! I gave you the wrong one. Sorry. At least it showed me, which is nice, so we don't waste time.
Sure.
Okay, new code.
hmm
X-ray, Foxtrot, 6, Romeo, Whiskey, uh, Victory. Damn it. Victor? Would it be Victor? I
I'm
don't
not
know if
sure.
you would be. But you got it, right?
Yep, I got it up.
Yeah, you do, yeah. All right, cool. So I'm going to do it.
And then what was your in-game name again here?
Winston, Maine.
Winston Man. Gotcha.
Yeah, I do that so people can pick the
Sure.
Reaper, you
hmm
know,
hmm Yeah.
ready to counter pick.
Yep. So really quick, since and we can spend brief time on it.
Mhm,
The narrowing your hero pool. Just spend a tiny bit more time on it.
mhm,
Like I said, this is out of everything I say, this is the most up to you thing because obviously everybody plays the game for different reasons and has fun doing different things. So
mhm,
if your most enjoyable experience comes from flexing around and playing whatever it's needed, then
mhm,
go for it. But like I said, objectively speaking, you will be probably improving at a slower pacing because you're spreading yourself so thin across different playstyles, different abilities, different ultimates, different things across every single character, and then even especially across roles that are so different from each other that
mhm,
if you spend if let's say just saying giving a quick example, if you have 600 hours across 6 characters, that's 100 hours a character. If you
mhm,
just simplify that down and you narrow it down to 3 characters, well, now you've just gotten 200 hours per character. And you
mhm,
just narrow it down even more, 2 characters, right? That's 300 hours per character instead of 100 each, right? So now you've just tripled your amount of time spent
mhm,
learning that character, and then therefore that time also will, you'll be able to learn that character, maybe even climb up to a higher rank because you're at that higher rank. Now your general game sense and general understanding of positioning and ultimates and abilities goes up as well, and you'll be able to therefore theoretically play some other characters better as to a higher level as well. So those naturally get raised as well along with those characters. So it's really up to you. You could
mhm,
go the route where you pick 2 to 3 characters in a single role. Or if you don't want to do that, you can pick, you could even just be as simple as narrowing it down a tiny bit. Maybe instead of 10 characters or 12 characters across 3 roles, maybe make it, 2 characters per role, or pick 2 roles instead of 3. Things like that. Right? So there's just ideas.
And I do hear what you're saying too, but you also said something that sounded a little contradictory because
Sure.
you said that if you played less heroes and kind of center them with a more pro understanding of each
Mhm.
one, you said it would make you understand the game more
Exactly.
generally.
Hmm.
But
Correct.
if you play more characters, though, wouldn't that give you a sense of how the enemy works in that way? And like,
Yes, but then you play your character a lot less efficiently. So it's a lot, like I said, it's a
hmm,
lot slower of an improvement process. It's not to say
lower,
that it's impossible to improve.
right?
It's just you're going to be doing it at a much slower pacing. So you will be getting a broad game understanding, but to climb in rank, is it necessary to understand the intricacies of every single character and their abilities? No, not necessarily, though that is very helpful. It takes a very long time to do that. That's the kind of thing that you can do just naturally over time as you
Mm-hmm.
play the game, and that's
Mm,
not something that's
I
even
see.
immediate. Like knowing the intricacies of every single ability and ultimate and play
Mm,
style, that's something that comes, like I said, will come with time and is not critical to climbing. What is critical to climbing is understanding how you should be using your abilities and ultimates and your positioning and your mechanics and things like that.
mm-hmm.
So there.
Okay, that makes more sense to when you say it like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, let's hop into it. Once again, I'll be a minute or so.
Yeah, I don't remember this one so much by Sombra gameplay, but yeah, let's. I think I might embarrass myself with this clip, maybe, but we'll see. I guess. I mean, I do also really love Sombra. She is one of the characters that I would like to play also more. Maybe I should do like a gameplay of that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And by the way, okay, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, no, no. It froze. I was like, oh, by the way, it froze. That's all. Go ahead. So yeah, I got really screwed up here by this Brigitte. She kind of counters me here. That was stupid. I know that was stupid.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
I obviously missed my hack.
hmm so first engagement here, right? We can think through a couple things. Firstly,
Mhm.
hack, right? So new Sombra hack is really is a lot less powerful than before.
Mhm.
Hack is going to be
One
one.
second.
Yeah, hack can be used for a couple things, right? It's going to knock out the cooldown, so you can interrupt abilities. You're not going to be able to stop them from using abilities. You're just going to interrupt abilities.
Oh my
You're
god,
going to
I see.
Yeah, because it only
Yeah.
lasts for like a second, right?
Uh huh.
So you don't use it to prevent them because it's only going to stop them for like 1 second, right? So you use it to interrupt abilities that are currently happening in a lot of cases, or
Right.
ultimates that are currently happening. Um,
Right.
the other thing it does is, it'll make them visible through walls, which is handy, and then it will increase your virus damage speed by 2 times. So you have to think through something like this, where like, what value do we get by trying to hack Maga here? Yeah, we revealed him,
Uh,
and maybe if you chuck a virus at him, it'll do damage quicker. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to do much value, and it's to try to hack him here because he's just going to immediately get his abilities back, and I don't even know if he should who you should be targeting here,
yeah.
because he's the tank, and generally target prioritization is
Yeah.
you shoot at the easier characters to kill,
Yeah.
not the harder characters to kill.
So
Um,
definitely, I just wanted to know. So
mhm,
definitely, that was kind of, let's say, a panic hold. So
mhm,
after I fucked up, I just kept
mhm,
it because I was like, okay, the cooldown's already done. They already know I'm here. But of course, I did try to get the Brigitte, and then that would take away our shield, and
mhm,
then I'd be able to,
mhm,
headshot her to death. But
mhm.
that only worked in my imagination.
Yep. 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 Yep.
so, so yeah, this was just a pure screw up,
Yeah.
and of course, I definitely
To
didn't mean to do.
real quick, it doesn't. It looks like your hack sensitivity is pretty high. Have
That.
you ever adjusted your hack sensitivity?
You know what? No.
Nope. Okay. So this is something then only reason why I bring this up is because this is something that will apply to a lot of your different characters. If you
Absolutely.
understand this.
I have each character have not each, but most characters have their own sensitivity
Okay.
and their own different crosshair stuff. So yes, but
Yes.
I did not do the sensitivity
Yep.
detection or whatever.
Mhm.
So what
Do
is that called?
Yeah, so if you go to your specific hero, which is Sombra, right, and you do hack
I'm,
sensitivity,
I'm looking
um,
at hero and the allied bars, so I'm already there.
hero, yep, hero hack sensitivity. It should be at 100% for you, yeah.
It
Um,
is.
if this is at 10%, which is the lowest, it'll
Uh-huh.
make it so that you have to be aiming directly at the person for your hack to register on them. Whereas if it's at 100, well then look at this scenario where we're aiming at the brig, but it goes to the Maga just because he's a little bit closer to you here. So we're like pretty much. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, so that like it's a little bit like iffy who it should have gone to. So if you lower this a little bit, it can
Mhm.
be a little bit more accurate to where you're aiming without sacrificing the ease of use. So that's so my recommendation for most sensitivities like this
I did
is
33.
say, I might recommend a little bit higher. That might be a little bit low.
Gotcha.
So I'd recommend around 60 to 80. Sometimes 50 is okay. And note that this will be the same thing for a lot of
Mhm.
other characters. Mercy's fly and heal.
Mhm.
Kiriko's TP and heal, Lifeweaver's heal and grasp, Zenyatta's heal and discord, Ana's nano boost, Echo's copy, Sombra's hack, Zarya's bubbles. Lots of different characters will have this same thing where you'll see
So it's
projected here.
it's called Guardian Angel sensitivity, right? So
Correct.
mine says 80%.
Okay, so you then that might mean that either that's the default or you've adjusted it already.
I'm pretty sure I adjusted it because it
Hmm.
looks like the other beam sensitivity is also adjusted to
Yep.
76%, which
Hmm.
would not be
Yep.
default.
Yeah. Hmm. Yep. So
So,
that's pretty decent. That's not like that. That's fine.
mhm. And you said Zen also, so that's a good one to look at.
Yep.
So Zen, 55, 55.
Yep. Brig
That's
has
like,
it.
mhm.
Ana, Lifeweaver, Kiriko,
Wait, what does Ana have it for?
Nano Boost.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
Hmm.
see that? See how much I play Ana?
Hmm.
So yeah, that's at 100%. So I'll turn that down to
Hmm.
maybe 33 because that
Yeah.
would be more accurate,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. So I'll let
Okay.
you explore that a little bit after
Mhm.
we're done, so we
Mhm.
don't have to
Okay,
spend too
yeah,
much
no,
time
no.
on it.
Yep.
Secondly here, we're a little bit close to them right now. We're like, we want to watch their range, right? So what range is Sombra as a character?
Low to less than mid.
Yeah, low to less than mid. Yep, that's a good idea. I'd say like probably around 50. She's probably closer. 15 meters. They just narrowed her spread, so she can probably go up to
Mhm.
like 20-ish, right? But past that, she's not going to be very effective.
Mhm.
But she does still then therefore have a bit of range. What's Brig's range?
That I don't know.
Brig?
Like, are you
Well,
saying low in terms of like low or high?
yeah, well, and she really her main thing,
Daily.
her flail, that's gonna
Hmm.
be, that's gonna in her bash, that's gonna be a thing that's within 5 meters, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
why are we stepping within that when that's
Mhm.
just gonna get you shot at and killed easily, right? So
Mhm.
pull a little
Mhm.
bit further back,
Yeah,
play.
I'm also going to tell you another little of my train of thought here because what I do, like I said, strategy general playing Overwatch, is now their team is exposed. I can see who they are, right?
Hmm.
And I'm like, ooh, they have Brig. That's already going to counter me in a lot of ways, and I don't like that because it's
Mm-hmm.
going to, interrupt with a lot of things. So I already am in my mindset of switching, I believe.
Don't do that before you die, because so you're thinking of this as if it's as if one character
Hmm.
makes it so that it's a hard counter, whereas in
Hmm.
Overwatch there's no such thing as one character that hard counters another character. There are
Hmm.
characters that provide there each character can have a soft counter to another character, and you can have a team composition that hard
Hmm.
counters a character, right? So you can have an entire team comp that shuts down a character, but one character will not say to another character, "You're not allowed to play this character." And
Hmm.
then beyond that, even if you did have an entire team comp that's against you, you still would want to try to win the fight. You don't want to just run in and die, because you want to try to win the fight. Because if you can win the fight, even on a character, because if you're on a disadvantaged character, right? Let's say your character's at a disadvantage, that still doesn't really pull your chances of winning down all that much of this individual fight. Let's say they countered you so bad that you have a zero impact on this fight.
Hmm.
For your other teammates, your other four teammates that are alive, that's still a 40% chance of winning this fight, right?
Yeah.
So
But wouldn't that just be time wasted though? That I could be
no,
doing more
because
things.
well, because if they kill you, then they're gonna cap the point, and they're going to therefore win the first fight, get more ult charge, get a snowball advantage, and
Exactly. So
they'll be
the sooner I die, the faster
mm-mm.
I can build
No,
a charge.
because then what if you win the fight? Because you have a 40 to 4. I'd say you have a 40 to 45% chance of winning the fight, even if you're on a disadvantaged character.
Hmm,
Why
really?
would you give up that chance to win the fight
Hmm.
when by going and dying? That'd be like, for example, that'd be like saying, okay, we lost one character. We're down one person. Let me go in and die because we're at a disadvantage. So I'm just
Well,
gonna go and
die
die.
or group up, not die, but
Hmm.
group up, right? Like not feed.
Yep. Hmm.
Wait, for a good push, especially
Hmm.
with
Yep.
synergizing ults.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my point, is that being down a person doesn't make
Oof.
it so that it's a lost fight, right? And therefore, you don't want to immediately run in and die just because you think you're at a disadvantage, because
Right.
disadvantages are still winnable. So I would still try to win the fight, and then if they win the fight, then you can just swap. And then the other great thing is that you'll be able to keep some of the ult charge anyways from the swap.
Hmm.
Is another is something that they've added in. So I'd say try to win the fight, and if you see if you're on a bad character, then swap after you die. Don't just try to run in and suicide, because you still have a chance to win the fight, and that's going to be so much more immensely valuable than swapping.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, I don't think I stick on Sombra, but
Hmm.
that is a good tip in general. So thank you.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's good. By the way, I can still hear you. I'm just gonna let my cat out. Give me one sec.
Sure.
Sorry, pumpkin. Hey. So, who do I go? Okay, soldier here.
Okay, so let's
Why?
talk. Let's go talk about general positioning real quick, because this is
Okay.
gonna be something that will be handy for you across every character in the game, pretty much.
Yep. Good. Good. Good.
So that's good things to discuss.
Hmm.
Firstly, let's just talk about this kind of positioning. If I'm standing right here, right, and the enemy
Hmm.
team is standing right there, and it's all of them are looking at you, shooting at you, ulting at you, etc. You're trying to run away, and it's going to take you 1, 2, right? If you're on a slower character, it takes you 3 seconds, right? And in that time, and from here, right? From here, you're safe. You cannot shoot through solid objects, so you're
Hmm.
perfectly fine. But in
Right.
that time it took you to run over here, you ended up
Hmm.
dying because they just shredded you down, right? That 5 people shot at you.
Right.
So, but from here you can do all the same stuff, shoot at stuff, and it's going to take you half a second to duck behind cover, right? Which is like
Right.
4 times faster than what it just took you from over there. So,
Right.
therefore, good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas
Hmm.
bad positioning is the absence of cover. The further away we stray from it, the worse
Hmm.
off you're going to be. But the great thing is that cover's all over the place. You can use slopes, you can use pillars, in between
Hmm.
shots while you're reloading, when you're being
Hmm.
shot at. Corners do the same thing. Random objects like the payload do this. Pillar, corner, doorway, corner, doorway. It's all over the place that you can
Hmm.
use. On top of this, high ground, also superb positioning. Notice how
Yeah.
all of it, most of it, if you're using it properly, will act as natural cover. They can see you, now they can't. They can see you,
Hmm.
now they can't. On
Right.
top of that, 2/3 of the characters in the game can't get to you unless they use the stairs, which takes a long time.
Third. Is
And
that a fact?
well, approximately, right?
Right.
Um,
Okay.
And then the other third that can get to you,
Mhm.
they need to use abilities a lot of the time, right? Which means that
Right.
now they expend abilities, and you can just run away.
Mhm.
And that which is another layer of survivability. And then
Mhm.
on top of that, you have a ton of visibility from high ground, so we can see over here,
Mhm.
here, here. But when we're on low grounds, we can't see over there, or any of the high grounds, right?
Mhm.
So cover and high grounds are the fundamentals of good basic positioning. Does all that make sense? Any questions on it?
No, no, that definitely makes sense. I mean, of course, there are situations that take you out of it to maybe, let's say, chase that kill
Yep.
or to, mostly that.
Yeah, for sure.
But otherwise, that is a good thing to definitely keep in
Yeah.
mind
Mhm.
in general like that. So, yeah.
Think of it like general rules of thumb. There will be
Mhm.
situations where you're not always constantly on a high ground, right? Because
Mhm.
the high ground might not be available. Don't be on a high ground if it's a mile away from the fight, right? Or if they send three people to dive on you, just run away and give them high ground. Or if,
Mhm.
like you said, you see an opportunity to go chase a kill, right? Go
Mhm.
ahead, chase it down.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. It's a good thing, a good extra thing to keep in mind because maybe I don't enough.
Hmm.
Because honestly, I think sometimes my gameplay is actually about getting the trades and having sometimes the highest, usually the deaths in the team.
Yeah.
But
Don't a lot of times you don't want to look for trades because trades in Overwatch
mhm,
aren't too much value. It's very minimal to value. If you go 1-to-1, now there's some people that try to make the argument, right?
mhm,
But what if I kill a more valuable character like a tank, right? And I trade and I go for one. Well, it's still not a ton of value when you trade because ultimately you're going one on one, which is approximately zero value, right? Because you just go one for one, and then you also lose your ability for carry potential. You put your carry the game, right? You put winning a fight into the hands of other people at your rank, right? So if you're a plat player,
mhm.
right, and you have plat teammates and plat enemies, and you remove yourself from the equation, and now it's four plat teammates versus four plat enemies. What percentage of the time will your teammates win that fight?
Yeah, I mean 50-50 because it's
50-50, because they're all
yeah.
plat players, right?
Mhm,
So you will win 50-50% of the time. So you can't remove yourself from the equation. You have to be part of the equation. So if you're trying to carry your games, try to get your KD up. KD is a very with maybe the exception of like support, which it kind of depends on the support. Across most tanks and DPS, KD is a pretty good measure of how you're performing. If
mhm.
you have a low KD, you're not going to be doing great. If you have a high KD, then you could be getting up to carry potential. So usually, negative is horrible.
Mhm.
0 to 1 is very bad. 2 to 3 is okay, right? That's like maybe you're doing like the bare minimum of your job at two to
Hmm.
three. Um, Four, let's say like 4 to 6. Now you're starting to do a pretty decent job, right? Now you're starting to get to the territory where you're doing a good old job there. 7, 8, 9. Now you're starting to like you're on fire, right? You're doing really good in your
Mhm.
game, right? 10 plus, that's your carry range. That's where if you're at 10 plus KD, you theoretically are doing enough to where you can win even if your teammates are playing horrible.
I see. So where is that by the way? Like I'm looking in statistics
You just
overview,
compare,
right?
yeah, you compare your kills. You can see if you go to statistics overview, you should be able to
Mhm.
see kills per 10 and deaths per 10.
Okay,
Um,
so I have Zarya as 19.7 for her limbs,
mhm.
and Death is what's all the way down there? 7. So
Yep.
19 to 7.
So approximately a bit like a 2.5 KD ish, right?
Okay, that's what that.
Which is
Yeah.
that you're doing your job, right? But
Mhm.
doing your job's not enough to carry because if you're doing your job in a plat lobby, then you're playing plat, right?
Right.
So if you want to climb, you got to do more than your job. You got to do better than your job. So that's what we can
Right.
continue to work on. So here we take low ground, we go Soldier's mid-range character. He likes high ground. We kind of let them get to this close range on us.
Hmm.
Whereas what we could be doing here is coming on and getting on the high ground, and now Brig can't get you on high ground.
Right,
Naga can't
right,
get you on high ground. Sigma
absolutely.
can't get you on the high ground.
Hmm.
The only character on their team that can really effectively get you on the high ground is their Pharah. And then that just makes it a 1v1 that you can take.
Hmm.
Much better than having a Brig jumping on you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So if you're
Go
looking
ahead,
to
high
get
ground.
better, yeah, if you're looking to get better, the two biggest things that you want to look to do is look to cut back on deaths and learn how to get kills more. And then there's
Yeah.
of course other elements, but those are some basics.
Hmm.
Yep.
And then I thought it was enough, and I went tank. So we had lots of switch ups. But no, going up a high range versus the brig, yeah, would have been good. Um, yeah. By the way, at least for this, like, I don't see that it's staggering, but on Discord, I can see my own screen is like shaking. So it's kind of
Huh.
yeah, but at least I don't see it on my actual like OBS, for example. So it's fine, I guess. But it's kind of weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Discord's been like maybe I have to uninstall and install again. I mean. So I am a tank main also. That also kind of plays into my personality of going in face first. Like sometimes like we lack a tank, and I swear to God I've gone like tank mercy because our tank doesn't push in, right? So that's sometimes, and that's why I like open queue because you're able to fill in that thing that you're missing. Right. Yeah, and I thought going after Bastion was kind of silly, but I don't know. I guess I was just scared of him. And yeah, nothing too much to note here.
Yep.
I mean, I guess, sorry, you tell me, actually. Nothing too much to
Yeah.
note.
Maybe it stayed in here a little bit long, right? So we got some really good kills, and honestly, not much of some looks that you look a lot more comfortable on tank, like you said, which that kind of speaks in of itself to like, if you just like if you just play the characters you're comfortable with, you'd like probably automatically go up a whole rank just because you're playing the characters you know how to play. Now here we play pretty well, but then we see our teams backing up and they're respawning, and we choose to go back in, which you do have your ultimate, so we can get out, but we also
That's exactly what I was going for, right? I was going to ult him right off the ledge. But I'm like, yeah, rank and charge.
yeah, but then we step in front of his charge, right? So watch to step across from it. Good job disengaging. But we just kind of push a little far in there.
And then I don't know what Brig was doing. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Step in front of charge again, right? So awareness, be paying attention and watching for his charge. Walk to the side of it, leap out of the way, things like that.
Can you rewind that again? 'Cause I want to see that. Like, so good that. Yeah, so I just ran into it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Immediate death too. Wow.
Yep. Oh, that's a winnable fight. Oh, that'd be a perfect moment to ult them all off the map.
Yeah. I guess I was just holding it because it was like, okay, let's see where I use it. Don't tell me I die with it. Please don't tell me I die with it.
Yeah, honestly, you win the fight, which is good. You could just use it at any point there because it's last fight if you win, and you're already you already had the advantage. So just guarantee it with the ult.
Yeah, this is when they start hard countering me. They went Roadhog, but Roadhog's really good for this, so it's not necessarily me. But a good character for this map. See, I don't play Roadhog, but I feel like I should. He's a really good character.
Okay, kind of just leap straight into the middle of their team. So, as Monkey, so this will kind of apply to monkey to diva, any tank that you're playing as a dive tank, and then
Mhm.
hopefully the concepts apply to other characters as well. But you
Mhm.
have what you call hard dives and you have what you call soft dives.
Mhm.
A here what we do, this is a hard diving. We just leap in, you just go 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 go, and when you do that, and this is kind of applies to a lot of other characters as well, even across DPS and things like that. If you just go 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 when there's no thing that lets you do that, then you're just gonna
Mhm.
get shredded by all five of their teammates, right?
And I
So
do want to.
mhm,
And I do want to just
mhm,
add real quick that this is the same mentality of what happened with the Sombra at the beginning of this
exactly.
game,
Hmm.
where I switched basically because I
Yeah.
saw they had
Hmm.
Roadhog and they had the
Hmm.
whatever else that
Yeah.
just countered. I was like,
So
okay, screw it. I'm just gonna go a
yeah.
harder tank.
Yep. Exactly. So once again, just
Mm-hmm.
therefore in that case, once again, same exact. And then we can hop back. We don't have to talk
Well, wait,
about
wait, wait. Since you're there,
you want to hear
I
it?
want to.
Sure.
I wanted to see what you wanted to show me though, because I still
Sure.
do
Yeah.
play a lot with.
Sure. Yeah. So it's the same concept, but all right. So hard diving versus soft diving. A hard dive is where you go go go. Soft dive is where you're kind of poke 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 poke, and you're trying to make something happen, right? So soft
Mhm.
dive is different in nature because you can do it differently. So let's say that they're right here. Soft dive could be where you are on a high ground, and let's say they're below you. You
Mhm.
could a lot of times you try to save your abilities. So we're poking for the hope of one getting ult charge, two creating space and creating pressure, three getting in damage, maybe opening up for an opportunity, and then you're disengaging very easily so you can just get back to your team and get healed. So we can drop, poke, 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 maybe bubble, poke, 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 and then we get pressured, so we just leap back up to our teammates, right? And it's
Mhm.
very we're not going in with the intention to get something done. We're going in with the intention to poke and get out alive. Whereas a hard dive. Hmm?
Because what's the purpose of that? Because that goes about the thing that I was saying about letting healers get their charge for free.
Well, because if it doesn't matter if they're getting their charge for free if you're also getting your ult charge because then you open up your ability to get ultimates.
But
Um,
but you're the only one getting the charge, and then like maybe they're getting charge on hitting me, and then the other two healers are healing for their charge, right?
and then your supports get charged for healing you. So ultimately, it just
Yeah,
ends up
that's
going
true.
even. And so what
I
you're
see.
doing, so what you're doing is you're generating your own ult charge, which, like you said before, you getting value is what's important because if you're using your ultimate at a
Hmm.
diamond level and everyone else is using their ultimates at a plat level, then
Hmm.
your ultimate will get more value than their ultimates, right?
Hmm.
So therefore, you're getting ult charge, which allows you to do things. You're getting damage, which might open it up for the ability for somebody to get a kill. You're creating space, which might open up for the ability to get for somebody to get a kill, right? So
Hmm.
you're creating opportunities for something to happen, and you're just
Hmm.
playing passive. So you can so there's multiple ways you can do this, right? You can, like I said, you can drop in from a high ground and save your leap. A lot of times you're trying to save your leap, so you can just disengage quickly, and
Right.
sometimes even save your bubble too. Or you could, if they're on a high ground, I can leap up, shoot, 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 and then once I'm done, I just drop back off, right? And then you
Hmm.
just leave their line of sight.
Right.
Or I can, if they're like right here, I can just kind of walk into them, right, and save my jump for when I get out, right, and poke, 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 and then I leave to get disengaged, right, and get
Right.
healed, and then go back in, and then you just keep poking, keep soft diving until you get the opportunity to make something happen. That could be then you hard dive when you have the opportunity. So somebody is low, somebody's
Hmm.
out of position, right? This person's off by themselves. Let's go, let's do it. Or if you have your ultimate, now you can hard engage. Or if you're going in as a coordinated dive with a bunch of teammates,
Hmm.
then you can go in, right, as
You,
a hard
you don't want to
engage.
soft engage with your ult, right?
Say that again.
You don't want to soft engage with your ult, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that
All
and
right.
that concept's gonna apply in a lot of tanks, but then even a lot of DPS too, right? Like especially like opportunistic DPS like Tracer, or Lucio is kind of an opportunistic support where
Mhm.
you kind of just poke, 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 try to make something happen, wait for something to happen, and you engage when you see the opportunity, not
Hmm.
just hard inting and hoping something happens.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. And I want to play more Tracer too, but I don't think I have like the. I don't know. Maybe I almost want to blame the room or something, but just like because you have to be able to like flick quick and teleport back kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't have that innate reflexes for that. This
Mm-hmm.
game.
Yep.
So it's just one person I can't play.
Hmm.
Play Sombra, pretty fine though. But anyway, let's keep going because actually we're almost done.
Sure. Yeah, we actually do have to wrap up here because I think I only have a few minutes. So,
Oh right,
really,
you're right.
really,
Say
yeah,
that.
really quick here. Um,
Hmm.
final review. It looks like there's a lot of positioning things that could use work. So I'd say
Hmm.
primarily focus on positioning. Make sure you're watching your ranges. Use cover. Take high grounds. And then besides that, it's might be a good idea to consider maybe narrowing down. And then that can help keep things more. Just a little bit easier to climb and understand your characters. Ultimates and abilities, we didn't really get too much in depth on because we were on so many different characters that we
Yeah,
never really got a chance to talk about ultimates and abilities too much.
yeah.
And yeah, I'd say that's some of the main things for the session. Any final questions on anything?
No, not really. Just yeah, I did wish I had more time, unfortunately, but I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, I'm glad that we could pick so many different characters because I mean, on one hand, you're right, I do need to narrow down, but I do want to keep the characters that I did talk about
Hmm.
as like players that I mean, characters I'll still be playing.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
All right.
yeah, no, I appreciate all the
Sounds
little
good.
tips there. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'm gonna get you your recording in a minute.